home of Welsh sport. This is Cymru Sports. You're listening to Cardiff City World on Cymru Sports Radio, live from the Welsh capital. The most interactive football show in Wales, featuring guests, fan opinion, and all the latest news surrounding Cardiff City. Have your say and get in touch now.
Welcome back. This is Cardiff City World on Cymru Sports. We will be followed straight away at 8 o'clock by the Welsh Football Hour. But with no further ado, I'm delighted to be joined by Cardiff City's first team coach and former player, former captain, Mr. Darren Purse. How are you, mate?
Not too bad. So are you okay, mate?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Thank you for giving me your time and popping in, mate. I appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Indeed. It's been an interesting season for you, mate. You've been a bit everywhere, doing a bit of this, doing a bit of that. But first and foremost, are you enjoying it?
Totally different roles. Two totally different roles. As under-21 manager, it's all about recruitment, sort of finding the next golden nugget, the next diamond to come through. Coaching, a lot of individual coaching, and development. You know, you'll take a defeat for the development of a young player coming through, whereas now it's about getting 3 points, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Listen, there's an element of coaching that goes on during the week, especially with the younger players that we've got in the squad. Obviously, trying to improve them, trying to make them better, working on what their sort of so-called weaknesses are. But it's two totally different roles, but I've enjoyed both of them. But if you was giving me the choice, I'd take the first team stuff all day.
Absolutely, and I think it's been a really interesting season. Some ups and some downs. Are you missing that role with the under-21s? I know you say, obviously you want to be working first team football. I understand that, but obviously you had a big role alongside Gavin Chesterfield and others in bringing through, a lot of these youngsters who are pushing now for first team football. Do you miss that side of it?
I do miss it. It's nice. I still get to see all the under-21 players every day. Speak to Blocks, who's doing an amazing job at the minute, and all the sort of under-21 staff, sort of keeping it going. So I do miss it, but like I said, I think what under-21 football can't give you is that Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, playing for 3 points, pitting yourself up against the people that are in the dugout next to you. Because sometimes there's always a little bit of an agenda at times with the under-21s. There's the long-term goals rather than there and now. But that's the big thing that I'm really enjoying about the first team stuff. And like I said, long may it continue. If we can pick up a couple of results between now and the end of the season, we'll be looking good. And hopefully build from there.
Indeed, mate. And I thought the signings. The signings which you have been brought in the summer and in January, generally look pretty good and is helping the team. A lot of young players, but I'm kind of interested in the insight that you can give me in terms of how difficult it is for managers like Omer Riza, for coaches like yourself, who filling in on an interim basis initially and kind of short-term deals. How difficult is that compared to if you've got, a longer term plan in place?
It is difficult, because you're always looking over your shoulder a little bit. You don't know what's around the corner. But I think as a coaching staff and as obviously and the gaffer as he is, he's prepping and planning as if he's going to be in it for the long haul, And I think that's the only way you can look at it. You're planning and trying to win the next game, but there's a long-term goal, a long-term sort of project that the football club is at this moment in time. It's exciting when you look at sort of the players that we're getting in and the young players getting in. People like Alex Robertson, Yusuf, I think has hit the ground running since he's come in with the goals he scored. He's scored some vital goals recently. I think you look at Siva. I think he's really settled into midfield straight away. So there's a lot of excitement and a lot to look forward to. I think around around the football club. But the here and now is we need to get 3 points every Saturday for between now and the end of the season to push ourselves away from that relegation zone and keep us out of that bottom three.
Indeed, mate. So I had a question sent in by someone you might know. I'm not sure. Mr. Omer Riza. He said, question for Percy: who's the best at the crossbar challenge out of all the staff?
Hey, he needs to have a look at himself, the gaffer, at the minute, because he's not in a good... He hadn't lost for, I would say, a good 12, 14 weeks. And then he's the last couple he's struggled with. So, yeah, he's... to be fair, we're all pretty even. What we usually do, just as before the boys even come down, once we've settled the session up, we'll have a little crossbar challenge for a coffee on an away game or something like that. It's just a bit of fun amongst the staff. And, yeah, I think it's pretty even Stevens. Rammers is pretty decent at it. He shanks a few, but ends up hitting it pretty lucky, you know. So myself and Shozza have got a bit of culture about us for centre halves, but no, it's a good little game, and I think that sort of adds to sort of the cohesion we've got as a staff. You know, Ward is another one who's come in as goalkeeper coach, quite fresh into it, but obviously knows the football club like the back of his hand from playing here. But I think it helps as a group that we are quite close knit. We can all have our say, which I think is massive. But at the end of the day, it's the manager, the gaffer, who's got the final say. And once he makes that, we back him 100%, and it's working quite well so far.
Yeah, I think in fairness, the one thing that you could see almost immediately from when Omer Riza came in, and then obviously you joined the first team group as well, was the morale and the togetherness within the group is there. Like, you can see it much more clearly. How important to morale? Like, obviously the Christmas period was very difficult. You had the Leeds game recently, which is difficult. So how important is it in January to get in a couple of new players? Because that, I would imagine, gives the dressing room a lift. You know, you look at young Alves, he's like super exciting. It's sort of player which gets you off your feet when you're watching football. Mansverk looks like someone who's probably, could be playing for Ajax in the not too distant future. You know, Salic, like you said, has hit the ground running. Do they help with the morale when those lads come in?
I think you need it. I think it shows that obviously the owner's backing the manager, because obviously the money he's putting in his pocket to go and sign the players. So I think that's always a massive positive. I mean, the big thing I can say about the gap, he's very positive. You know, I think the conversations he has with players on a daily basis is unbelievable. You know, the work that goes into it. He deserves so much credit for what he does away from the training pitch, away from the games. I think he really cares about the players that he's got and the players that are fighting for him, and I think that's why they are, because they know that he cares about them, and it shows. But so much work goes into that on a daily basis from the gaffer. He's always pulling players for one-on-one chats, always sort of trying to find out how they're feeling, how they are on a daily basis. He's been top class at that.
And I think that's obviously so important in terms of the man management side of it, but I think it's even more important when you've got young players in the squad. Particularly, I think it's Alves' first loan, I think, isn't it? So that's a big step for him. When you've got these young players coming through, it's important that they get that sort of what's the word, like that time, I guess, with the manager, and they feel that they've got someone to turn to. Have you been surprised by how well some of the young players have sort of stepped up this year, or with the players who've come in, whether it be in the cup games and stuff like that, rotation? Obviously, they've done very well. I think by and large, all of them have performed to a pretty high level and knocking on the door for the first team. Has that surprised you, or is that something that you kind of expected due to their qualities?
It doesn't surprise me, because we see them on a daily basis. We see their quality in training, so we see it, and it's just about us. Our job is to try and hone what they're doing in training and let them go and be extravagant, and let them go and sort of enjoy themselves on a Saturday afternoon. Sometimes it's tough because the pressure of playing in front of crowds, especially young players, especially the pressure of playing in front of crowds that some of them haven't ever played in front of. That's always a tough one. But as long as we can give them the tools that they can go and express themselves on a Saturday afternoon, I think that's what we're there for, is to give them that opportunity, and they can then go and express themselves when they get given the chance.
Yeah, and I guess you're playing in high pressure situations at the moment, and the championship is high pressure anyway. But obviously, whilst we're within reach of that relegation zone, there's a lot of pressure which comes with the games. There's a lot of pressure at Cardiff anyway. Go on.
But that's part of the boys' learning curve, isn't it? Is playing in front of that pressure. I think if you look at the Cardiff fans and how they are, if you give them their all, they'll back you 100%. I look at some of the. I remember Watford away. We was on a run, and probably I think we'd lost. Oh, we hadn't won for 8 games, wasn't it? And we went to Watford away, and you could sense that we had half a chance of nicking the game, just because they were so positive behind the goal, even before the game during the warm up. You could sense it, and the players feel off that. When there is that little bit of negativity of time, you can understand why that is, because the position we're in. When there is that negativity at times, it does play on the players' minds a little bit, especially some of the younger ones. So, anytime they can get behind us, the support they give us, I think it'll only reap dividends as the season progresses.
Yeah, and I mean, on the fans getting behind the team and stuff like that, atmosphere. That's what South Wales derby recently was like a real bumping atmosphere, wasn't it? The ground was bouncing, and I think it's been a long time since I've seen it like that. That's got to be special for you as coaches, manager, players to play in those atmospheres is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, to be involved in them is brilliant. I've probably missed out on it over the last few years. You don't quite get that feel when you're sort of playing in under 21 local derbies, but yeah, it was an awesome atmosphere. I think even like Saturday, when we were 1-0 down, you could see we were pushing to get the equaliser. Once we've equalised, there was only one team that were possibly going to go and get the 3 points, and that was us. The gaffer's very positive in the way he wants to play. I don't think there was anybody sort of within the group that said, let's settle for a point, we're happy with a point. We wanted to go and get all 3, and we were close to doing that. So that positive energy from the fans, from the players, from the coaching staff is only going to help us going forward in the running, mate.
For sure, mate. Just before I let you go, Darren, I just wanted to ask you a couple of things on the manager. Like, he's clearly very important to the group in terms of, you can, like you say, you can see there's a good atmosphere around there. He's got a good relationship, and you've mentioned, some of the things like the relationships and the way you're able to get your ideas across and stuff like that. Was he a big miss when he was banned from a touchline, do you think?
I think it was. I think if you look at him on the sideline, I think the players look for him for information. I think they look at him for just that sort of sense of togetherness a little bit, So I think he was a big miss. Whether or not he would have affected the 7-0 at Leeds, I'm sure he would have done at some point. I think it was hard for himself and Shoza being on the phone together. Trying to get your point across is tough when you're not actually on the side and in this. You're in the fight when you're there. You can feel the energy from what's going on. So I think it was a big miss. It was good to have him back against Bristol City. And these, and hopefully, sort of over this running, he'll be he's the gaffer. I think he's been top class, and I think he'll be a pivotal part of getting this group over the line, and a pivotal part of building over the next year or two. Because I think that the plans that he's got in place and where he wants to take the football club they're only positive, and we're really looking forward to where it goes.
Yeah, one of the things that's really impressed me actually since he's come in is that he's for a young manager, he's very adaptable tactically. We've seen a few different shapes and formations within the team, within a game, but from game to game, different situations, different oppositions. How is that for the group? Like, with quite a few young players, do they find it easy to adapt to the different systems and the different tactics?
I think they find it easy to adapt because the work that goes into it, when you're leading into games Thursday, Fridays are sort of real tactical days. The work that goes into it, they get the information, they get what they need from the gaffer, from the coaches when we're on the sides, So I think from that point of view, they get everything that they need. And if they have got any questions, it's quite open that they can ask them. If they don't think something's right, they'll speak their mind, So from that point of view, I think they've got a platform to speak and do what they and sort of have that sort of voice. So I think that's key. I think if you look at the Bristol City away game, obviously there was a little. I think there was a few murmurings of why did we change our shape? We were being, but then I think you look at games like Coventry away, we changed shapes halfway through the game, to see it out and things like that. We've done it in a positive way on a number of occasions, and at times you don't get the plaudits when it goes right. You only get people that sort of want to have a little pop when it doesn't quite go right. So. We've done it a few times this year, and it's worked really well. West Brom was another one. Sort of when you're sort of hanging in there and you need that point, you change the shape a little bit, and you walk away with your point. So they're the positives to take from everything. But I think the way and the work that goes in behind the scenes, I mean that's why the players are so adaptable with everything, because they get all the information they need, and it's a real positive atmosphere.
Yeah, I guess the young players, as they come up through all the different development teams, they play a lot of different positions, I think, don't they? I mean, look at Joel Colwell's played lots of different positions in his loan spell. So I guess that helps with adapting as well when it comes to that.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you've got players like Perry and G, who can play really well at fullback, but can play at the right side of a free really well. Joel Bagan's another one, quite adaptable in what he can do. Callum O'Dowda can play as a left back, left wing back, or as a left wing. So you've got players in the squad that can play the different positions. So from that point of view, it'd be silly not to use them. And when we have got the opportunity to change shape for certain situations. So yeah, listen, it's all good. It's going really well, and long may it continue.
Indeed, mate. Lastly, one of your former centre-back partners, I welcome him back to Cardiff in April, in Glenn Loovens. Tell me a little bit about your relationship on and off the pitch with that.
I taught him everything he knows. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking all credit for that. He's a great lad, mate. So really good. Sometimes sort of I think when sort of Scandinavian players and players from abroad come over, they don't fit into the culture sometimes. Glenn fitted into the English culture really well, really wanted to embrace sort of Wales, and I've got so much time for him. He's such a great fellow, and I can't wait for him to come over. And love playing alongside him. I think we complemented each other quite well in the early days when he was sort of that pace and sort of quite aggressive. Us, you just let him go and edit and crack on and sort of sweep up behind him. But he's really good lad, and really looking forward to him coming back over, mate.
Yeah, me and you both, mate. He's really funny. When I spoke, I've spoken to him on the phone a few times now, and he's a funny guy. So I think it's going to be I just think it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be real nice, and he hasn't been back to Cardiff in a long time, and he doesn't do a lot of podcasts and media and live events. So he's going to have stories to share, his careers to talk about. It's going to be a real good weekend that I'm very much looking forward to. Darren, mate, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you ever so much. I'm sure we'll see you again soon, mate, but best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks for flipping it for me as well, mate. Sorry.
You're all right, mate. You're all right. Anything for you, Come on.
Cheers, mate.
You take
Appreciate
care. I'll see you soon.
Have a good one, pal. Bye,
and
mate.
you, buddy. Cheers, mate. Darren Purse, Cardiff City first team coach. I appreciate there's loads of questions and stuff in the chat. We are under a time constraint as we're on the radio. But look, it's the Welsh Football Hour coming up next. We've got lots and lots still to come. We'll talk about Cardiff City a little bit more as well, because they are, in fact, a Welsh football club. But stay with us for hour 2 in just a minute.
The home of Welsh sport. This is Cymru Sports.